Hi everybody. In the last video we were looking at Flask templates. We were just getting started with the basics. We learned how to grab like a free template from the web, Flaskify it or convert it to something that we can be used in Flask, and we developed a website that looks like this here, where we have the home page, not much on it really yet, and club officers, and maybe you created some other pages as well. In this video, we're going to be looking at how to add variables, conditionals, and loops to that Flask template. So let's get started. So here I have the club president is Chris Romo. Let me just change that a bit so we can start looking at variables here. And that would be in index.html. The club let me change that to something that changes every week, like this week's flight range manager is Chris Romo. Okay, now I'm going to look at the site we made. This week's flight range manager is Chris Romo. No excitement there. It looks pretty basic, but that changes every week, so maybe we don't want that hard-coded in our index.html file, which is what we did here. So we're going to create a variable. And we do that in the template side, in the HTML code, by having these two braces and then the variable name within those braces. Like, let's say, I'll just call it manager. So that's what we need to do there. I've defined this variable, and so what will happen is when this template gets rendered, it'll look for the value of this variable and insert it there. On the server side, that's on this page here, this main index page. I called it doesn't matter. Let me just change the variable name so I can Chris Romo, or let's change the name to someone else just so we see the difference. Ann Mulkern. And now here I'm going to send that variable to the template. So render template, the first thing is the HTML that we'll look for in the template folder, and the rest of these arguments are going to be named variables. So this, we named it in manager in the template, and I'm just going to say the manager. I could have put the string there, but I just did it this way. Okay, I saved that. I think I saved index, so let's see if this actually works. Whoop, and obviously I had an error that I didn't see. Let me take a look. I've been having this problem of unexpected indents here. Let me fix that. And now I get some other, oh no, that's fixed. All right. Let me run that. Okay, and now let me try this. This week's flight range manager is Ann Mulkern. So we just created this variable. Let me show you that again. So in index.html, the variable name were in these double braces. We pass that variable this way by when we use render template, we say manager, the name of that variable that's going to be on the template, equals whatever we want. So if I change the name here of the manager, it'll change it on the page. So we don't need to change the template, the index.html at all. We're just changing everything within this Python script. All right, let's take a look at some more complex variables that we can pass in. Let's take a look at our page again. Here I have the next Build Your Own workshop is the 20th of January at 2 o'clock, where we will be building flight tests, Easy Flyer. The cost is $15. Okay, so let's see how we can kind of turn those into variables. So I'm going to create a variable, I'll call it project, and that's going to be a Python dictionary. The key will be, let's say, the date of the workshop. Let's see, it's the 15th of, oops. That's cool. The time is always, whoops. It's also be a string, 2 p.m. The company of the build call it the model of what we're building. Hopefully. I forget what I called it. Easy Flyer. I don't know what it really is. All right. So here I created a Python dictionary. So in the dictionary we have the key date with the value 15 January, the key time, with the value 2 p.m. and so on. I'm going to pass that in to the template. So this name on the left is the name that it's going to be used in the template. This is the name, the local name. So I think that looks good there. The next build your own workshop is 20 January. So that is, now we called it project and it was date, I believe. So the syntax is the name of the dictionary dot the name of the key. Where we will be building, I think that's project company. Oh, and it was Easy Flyer. Oh, I didn't have cost there, but we can. Oops. Prod model, I called it. Sorry. And I think that looks good. I don't remember if I saved server py. Okay, let's see if that works. And that did work. Let's add this cost to the dictionary. It's here. Let's say it's $20. Make sure I ended the dictionary here. I guess I did. And then, whoops, sorry, wrong tab here. The cost is, so that's something I'm going to be passing in now. Just get a new line. So that's the syntax for realizing the values of Python dictionaries. Let's see if that works. The cost is $20. So that's an example of how to use simple either single variables or these dictionaries. Let's go back to, sorry for keep moving on here, that I say join us on the quad every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. to fly quadcopters and RC planes. So let's say that I want people to know whether we're going to be flying this Wednesday or whether the event's been canceled. So let's do that in server py first. So I'll call that the variable, whoops, flying p. That's, let's change the local name is flying. So there it is that I am flying. And the name, this is the name of the variable that will be in the template, flying p equals is flying. Okay, now here I am at the template, and let's say I want to, so I'm going to create an if statement. If, I called it flying p equals, well, I don't need that because it's a variable, it's either true or false. So if it is flying, then I'll p, also bold it here. We are meeting this Wednesday. The else statement is pretty much like any other else. Else we are not meeting this Wednesday. Sweet. Okay, and we're going to end the if by, whoops, just saying end if. So that's an if statement. So I have this if value, an else I show, and an end if. Let's see if that works. We are meeting this Wednesday. Cool. Let's change the value in server PY here to false. If I could spell false. Give that a try. So there's an example of an if statement. Now let's try something a little bit more complex, how to do looping of values. So if we're going to grab something from a database, very often there's going to be many entries in the database. So many movies that have various show times, and we want to display this in a HTML table or something. So let's see how do we go about doing that. For that, I'm going to grab some pre-existing code here. Let me just give me a second and hope all this tab will be working. And I'll do that at the end of this here. All right. And does it complain about anything? Apparently not. So here I have a list. So it's square brackets. It's a list containing Python dictionaries. So there's a key called title in the dictionary with the title of a video, the actual YouTube URL or link description, description of the video, and so on. And I'm surprised actually that formatting worked. And that seemed to work fine too. All right, so now I'm going to pass that whole list in to I think I called it videos. I'll check in a second here. Yes. All right, I'm going to save that because that's all we need there. And now I'm going to go back to index HTML here. All right, now I'm going to add some code to show those videos. So I'll just say featured videos. And now here I'm going to do a loop, a for loop. This is a very Python-y looking one. I can give it some arbitrary name here. I'll just call it for post in videos, I think it was called. Let's change the name here just so we can see the difference. Let's call these posts here. Save that, go here for post in posts. Okay, so the variable now is post dot. Now I look for what are the keys for that. And one key is the title. So I'll use that. Post.title, that's here. Let me scroll up a tad. Now I want the actual video. So it's going to be an iframe. I've learned my lesson to use with here. Okay, this is just the YouTube URL, youtube.com embed. Okay, now is that key to that unique video, and that was called post.vidlink. So you can see the syntax here is really similar to what we have been using, these double braces. And I think that looks good. All right, I always worry that I'm going to screw up here. All right, so that ended that. I'm still in the for loop. There's a description. Okay, so that's the name of the local variable here for post and post, and this description is part of the, is one of the keys in the Python dictionary. And now I think I'm done with the for loop. Very old school kind of ending of these for loops. All right, now if all goes well, and I'll be surprised if it does, we should get some better content on this page. Hey, almost. I screwed up here at this post title. Let's go see what kind of mistake I made there. Oh yeah, so here I didn't have these two opening braces. RC with dogs. Okay, that looks good. They're going to be flying apparently a plane with dogs. That looks cool. So it looks like I have, and there's this little description underneath here. Attempting to pop popcorn in a microwave oven in the air. That looks kind of cool. All right, so it looks like I got it all working. So that was an example of a for loop. So I showed you the basics, the variable, how to handle simple variables, variables that are dictionaries, how to handle conditionals, ifs and else ifs, and finally how to handle for loops. So we're coming along pretty well. One thing that sort of annoys me about this beginning part is that here we have home selected. That's cool, so it's in red. But when I hit here, it's still home. And when I hit FTV Lab, it still says I'm at home. So I'd like to change this menu now. So it really, what's selected here, what's in red, is the actual page I'm on. So let's see if we can do that. That would be in Layout HTML. And let's see, right here's the code that turns that red. So we see that it's class selected. So let's see if we can add some code that we just learned to fix this problem. Well, I'm going to start here. Add an if statement. If, let's say I have a variable, I don't have it yet, selected equals, oops, that's obviously not the syntax for an equals. Home. If it's home, then I want to put this class selected. That kind of looks right. Just copy that and use it for these others. Okay, just sorry, I'm kind of spacing out here. This is officers, class selected, and finally there's this FPV value. Selected equals FPV. All right, so now I have this, the HTML part of the code. Let me just save that. And let's see what we can do server side wise to do that. Well, let's see. So if it's here at this root, then we want home to be highlighted. So let me pass that in. I'll start right at the beginning, which is selected equals home. If it's officers, and if it's this one, the FPV, all right, let's see if this works. So here I'm at home. Let me just refresh the page. Whew, obviously, oh no, that's FPV Lab, and it shows me the FPV Lab. Let me go home here. That's highlighted, and it is home. I'll go to Club Officers. Club Officers are highlighted, and it's the Club Officer page. Sweet, so we did that. All right, so that was all I really wanted to show you. Now it's your turn. So give all this stuff a try, add some variables, maybe add some more YouTube videos to do something completely different. Have some fun.